Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Humans of Testing at TestZeus. Thank you for taking time to join us for today's webinar on the topic Becoming an Agentic SI Firm. As AI continues to transform the way businesses build, deliver, and support technology, system integrators have a unique opportunity to evolve beyond traditional implementation services and become strategic AI partners. Today's session is all about exploring what that journey looks like and the opportunities it creates, the practical steps SI firms can take to stay ahead. We are fortunate to be joined by an outstanding panel of industry leaders who have built successful Salesforce businesses, driven innovation at scale, and are now helping to shape the next wave of AI powered transformation. Over the next hour, we'll dive into real world experiences, practical strategies, and actionable insights that you can take back to your own organization. With that, let's meet our panel speakers now. So, first of all, I would like to introduce Mitul Patel. Mitul is the founder and CEO of Critique Technologies, driven by the vision that Salesforce should work as a strategic growth engine for businesses, not just as a technology platform. She focuses on helping organizations unlock the true value of Salesforce through strategy, optimization, automation, and scalable solutions. Leading Critique Technologies, she works towards bridging the gap between technology and business outcomes by delivering solutions that simplify processes, improve efficiency, enhance customer experience, and enable sustainable growth. Welcome, Mitul.
Hello.
Yeah, with that, we move on to our next panel member. We have Siddharth Sehgal in the house, guys. Siddharth is the CEO and founder of 360 Degree to Cloud, a Salesforce Summit partner and an ISV partner with 10 plus Salesforce native products on AppExchange, trusted by 3,000 plus Salesforce businesses. Isn't that amazing? Over the years, he's built and scaled Salesforce products across communication, customer engagement, and automation and AI. From 360-degree SMS to our AI-powered businesses communication suite, his has always been simple, right? Build products that solve real operational problems, fit naturally into Salesforce, and create measurable value for businesses. Today, their AI agents help businesses streamline calling, messaging, and digital communication across 15 plus channels, serving global markets with smarter, faster, and more connected customer engagement. We welcome you, Siddharth.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kishore, a Salesforce MVP and Hall of Fame member, architect, and one of the most respected community leaders in the Salesforce ecosystem. With over a decade of experience building enterprise sales solutions and mentoring thousands of trailblazers, Kishore is passionate about driving innovation, sharing knowledge, and helping organizations unlock the full potential of Salesforce and AI. Please join me in welcoming Kishore.
Hey guys.
Okay. Last but not the least, we have there's some echo. Okay. Last but not the least, we have Robin in our house. Robin is the CEO and co-founder at TestZeus, where he is helping redefine the future of Salesforce testing with AI agents. With over 15 plus years of engineering leadership experience, Robin is an open source contributor to Selenium, creator of the world's first open source Salesforce testing framework, an author and an international speaker at conferences including Dreamforce and Selenium Conference. Please join me in welcoming Robin.
Thank you,
That brings us,
Radhika. Hello.
yeah, that brings us to the session we've all been waiting for. I'll now hand over to Robin, and who lead today's session with our distinguished panelist. Robin, the stage is all yours. Over to you.
Thank you, Radhika. Okay, everybody, welcome first of all. Thank you for being with us. I think what you guys have done so far is not just impressive, how you guys accepted our invite to contribute back to the community and cut out time from your really busy schedules. That is really impressive. Thank you so much once again. So
Thank you
today's
for having
style,
us here.
thank you, Mitul. Yeah. So our style will be conversational today. I have a set of very tough questions for all of you. I will act as the devil's advocate. That is why I'm wearing black today. And the idea is that I will act on the customer's behalf. See, there is a lot of marketing hype, AI propaganda. Everybody says AI on their website. We really need leaders like Siddharth, whom we, with love and respect, call as Sid, Kishore, and Mitul, to separate the milk from the water. So most of my questions are today about separating the AI milk from the AI water. Okay, and the idea is not to pitch myself to you guys or vice versa. I will ask questions, and the three of you have to act in the customer's favor and answer those questions. Okay. With that being said, let's start with the first question. Okay, maybe can we have the first question on the screen, please? Okay, once the question is presented, spend 5 seconds, I'll anyways read it out, and then we'll try answering them together. Okay, maybe I'll just read it out while we try posting it out there. See, every SI website, every product platform says AI powered now. What's the real difference between an SI that uses AI tools, a Claude, a ChatGPT, and a genuinely agentic SI firm? And how would a client actually be able to tell the two apart? Okay. So, being a gentleman, ladies first, we'll start with Mitul, then to Sid, and then to Kishore.
All right, awesome. So I really agree with you here. Pretty much every website that you see, be it a services company or a product company, they are adding AI to the world. And, every of their either tools or services are like AI powered or, AI forward are some of the words that everyone's using. I would say some of them are really true. Like some of the, let's break it off into two parts. One is services, one is product, right? So when it comes to services, when it comes to AI powered, it should be basically they are using either Claude or Codex or any of the AI powered tools, which is going to, I would say, 4x your development cycle, like much more faster. So if the SI or any implementation partner is genuinely using AI in the backend for the development cycle, they can definitely call them as AI powered. When it comes to products, of course, when you have AI in the backend that is actually AI, you can say you are AI powered. However, we have seen a lot of companies just using like simple logic terms or some automation in the backend and calling AI, which is not actually AI, right? So that is something you should refrain from. If you're using AI in a product, you can definitely show your customers onto how you're using AI. So, for example, a simple thing like QR code scanning or simple like OCR recognition, that is one of the AI things that you can do. This is where you can explain to your customer the real power of AI and why you're calling it AI powered. This is where your customers will understand the importance of AI and whether you're correctly using it or not. And I always believe that when you're communicating it with the customer, stop using like heavy technical language or slangs that you're using internally, because customers don't know about that. There will be certain customers who are absolutely blank about AI, about anything, about Salesforce as well. So be as gentle to them as possible in terms of explaining your technology, and don't try and act smart when you're saying that yeah, we're doing X things in the backend when they'll not understand. So if you are very simple in speaking and explaining to a customer, which your layman customer is going to understand, that is your actual win. And uh, when you are posing as a customer as well, right, you actually need to search on the words that your either implementation partner or anyone is telling you. So that way, nowadays chat gpt is always there. It's going to help you out in confirming whether that thing is really AI or not. So do your due diligence, and both as your customer and as a partner, you should be true to what you're doing rather than just using it as a marketing gimmick.
Okay, makes sense. See, I'll be candid, and the whole idea of wearing black is that I will push back. So for a customer, let's say I work at a large bank, right? And I'm talking to team A versus team B, and both of them saying AI powered, right? How do I figure out which one is the real one? And I got some answers from Mitul, but passing the baton to Siddharth, like how me as this, VP of engineering at a banking firm figure out the answer.
Yeah. So absolutely. So first thing is if you have three vendors and two have written AI powered and third has not written, so don't talk to the third one. That's an easy one. Now about the two which have written AI. See, how I look at it is little different. For me, I consider AI as a child, a baby, which has born and is crawling right now. For me, it's not walking, it's
Hmm.
not running, it's just crawling. For
Hmm.
me, as an SI firm or as a client, you have to understand the behavior of it because it's new, it's crawling, and to ensure that when it starts walking and when it starts running, you are actually running with it, you are not falling behind the race. Right? So it's
Hmm.
a new learning experience from that point of view. Now, it's not a black and white situation where it's just AI powered agentic AI firm, and today I say, hey, this is 360 degrees an agentic SI firm, and that way this is not me, this is my avatar, and client will say, sorry, I don't want to deal business, I want a human in front of me at this
Hmm.
point of time, right? So is my client ready for that level of automation in agents is also a very big question. You talked about a
Hmm.
bank. Is the compliance even willing to take that risk of going with an agentic AI as a firm also and as a dependent also? So as of now, they might be happy with 2x AI powered firm than a pure agentic AI firm who says, hey, we are not coming to your bank or corporate headquarters at all. It will be my agents who will be talking, listening to you, and doing everything for you. I think so that will be the
Hmm.
situation, right? So it's a process in which we are, and everyone is testing the waters, I think so, from that point of view.
Very interesting, Sid. I think I love that perspective. Slightly contrarian, but mostly truth. That it's a process, it's a journey. It's not like a button, right? Okay, but I am not the panel. Kishore is the next panel member. So, what does Kishore believe is the answer to this question? How do people figure out?
So I just have a counter question to you, Robin, right? So when you say VP of a bank, so what does a VP do? I mean, like he's from a technology or who is the VP? Do you define that
Yeah, let's say VP of the Salesforce platform at a large bank in the
as a
US. Yeah.
bank in the US? Okay. So if I were a VP of a large bank, so my point of context will be like what is the tech debt, how much of a planning I have to do for next 1 year or like next 2 years, right? So based on that I will choose my platform, whether I have to be an agentic AI as a platform or I have to take some services from third party, right? So as a bank I can implement both. So I can take services as Mitul said, that do some codex or like take some cloud and then be a subscription model and then build everything. Now for a firm it is a benefit one or the other way because you're reducing the number of headcounts, still you're increasing your number of subscription model, increasing tokens, all of those stuff. So that's the counterpart of it. But the second part is like how agile, how fast you can build your developments, right? That's more important for the bank. So that's first
Hmm.
part. And the second part is like, yes, you can build your own products because you are of a repository of your own documents. So build your own LLMs and then just leave it as it is for the customer supports. And if they just upload any of the handwritten forms or like any of the OCR technology, build anything as such using your legal compliance,
Mm-hmm.
everything, build your own LLM, and then that can solve all your repository answers based on what you have. So I think in both the ways, but yeah, so that's how like I would have been designed the system.
Yeah. But Kishore,
God.
in that case, like
Yeah.
it's a bank, right? So I think so. It's very important to understand which department or division we're talking about.
Yeah.
If a bank says, "Hey, said your financial monitoring will be done by an I will change my bank, man. To be honest, I don't trust it at this point because that one decimal can
Uh,
make my life miserable. Just putting a decimal after two digits can make my life miserable. It will be
yeah,
solved
which AI
faster
can.
where is my MICR code, and the AI tells me, hey, it's at the bottom of your checkbook or something like that, and say, I'm here, I don't understand where to click. Tells me, oh wow, experience. So I think so that will matter where you are putting the AI at this point of time when I know that how much I can trust it and how much I cannot.
Yeah. So I think I would totally agree to say that, it depends on what this VP is actually doing, and, does he have a team to do it, right? Or maybe like a trusted SI partner, like one of you guys to work with them, right? Very
So
interesting.
I
Yeah,
want
go
to
on,
add
Mitul.
one more point here. I want to add one more point here is so if we empathize with all the CTOs, CIOs, or IT managers or heads, right? I think most of the companies have started putting AI as part of their KRAs, and this is where everyone's running around to start implementing AI in their companies and all. So when it comes to you being a customer, and if your management is pushing you for AI, well and good, it's much needed. We would not say no, but you genuinely need to understand, where is AI sitting in terms of everything that you're doing. Like as Sid correctly said, if it's a bank and if they're gonna use agentic AI on my financial data, of course, I'm saying no, I don't want to work with you guys, right? So that's very important to understand the industry and where AI belongs to your industry and whether it's suitable. Are you putting your customers' data at risk here? So that is the first thing that you should assess, whether is it really suitable for you to go ahead in that path, and have a good discussion with your management whether it's feasible at this point in time. Should we be at a crawling stage, or should we be at a running or walking stage? I think that is the first thing that you should do if it's part of your KRA.
Makes sense. I think what we are like, all of us are gravitating towards is this like some sort of a mental model that, what's the use case and how fast do you want to go? Like, you want to crawl, walk, run, fly, or you just want to like fly and crash? Like, decide, like, pick a side, like, place your bets in the casino. Only then you can win big. Yeah. But okay, I think that settles the first question. The next question is up for Sid. So, Salesforce is shipping agents faster than most teams can absorb them. I think Agent Force is at version 2 or 3. I've actually lost track. Is going agenting a land grab SIs have to win in the next 12 months, or a capability that you build slowly and deliberately? And what happens to the firms that wait? So, on to Sid for the next question.
So yes, so see, it's a two-part game. So I say it's a double-edged sword. Speed is very important in life. I built 360 based on speed, I can say, but with speed you cannot hamper the quality. We know agents, most of the agents fail 30% of the times or 20% of the times, and what makes them perfect or take them to a 98-99% level is a training. Good
Hmm.
training of the data, good maintenance of data, keep them training, keep the feedback mechanism running, and one day that will come that, hey, yes, now it is 98-99% there, managed by a human or implemented by a human, where it stucks up and it takes the things forward. So I will say, instead of grabbing a lot of land, doing 90% of things incorrectly will land you in a big trouble. Instead of doing 20% of things, being champion in those 20% of the use cases, having your agent successfully working, then you can always sell. So typically, I always say,
Hmm.
like, you need one good product to scale your company instead of 20 mediocre products which are failing in the market. So for me, it's replace the product with an AI agent. It's the same thing. Like, I use Whisper every day on the basis of it. They cracked one thing, like, I don't like to type, I can speak, and it just types for me. One simple
Yeah.
use case, boom, I'm happy with them. And they are,
Very
I'm the customer.
interesting.
So you have to crack that one AI agent, which is trained by you, any industry, any horizontal solution, you got it.
Very interesting. Good, Siddharth. Okay, I think that fairly answers that question to some extent, only some extent. But let's say on to Kishore for answering or adding more parts.
Yep. So I think this is Salesforce delivering agents faster than like every releases, right? Initially, what used to happen is like any other products, they take every 4 months to release, right? But nowadays it's every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they ship a brand new development. You see something today, the setup is here, now the setup is all in LLM. So
Yeah.
yes, I think there are changes which is really needed. But as an SI firm, I mean, like, it's not new, honestly. The SI firm selling AI era is all 1.5 years old content. So any pitch you deliver, it has an AI flavor to the deck for sure. or the SOW what you sell, it is the AI era is there till 1.5 year, right? So the point is like how much you can absorb from the content, right? So that is more important. So that's what I'm saying. So the build, how you develop things is more important in terms of using the AI knowledge, uh, and then building the right product at the right time. So that's more important.
Got it. I think then timing is the key there, Kishore, what you highlighted. And then to Sid's first point, if somebody's pitch deck doesn't have AI, we should not talk to them.
Yeah.
Or there could be some use cases where we should actually talk to them. Maybe they are the experts in banking field, and this VP of Salesforce platform at a large bank in the US wants to talk to somebody who's an expert. What do you say?
So, okay, I think Sid is talking on mute.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not able to hear you if you're speaking.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that there's always a market for someone. So there's someone made for you as your ideal customer. So that also has something. It's not going out of
Yeah.
business.
That's a match made in heaven, not AI heaven. Yeah. Okay, but what would Mitul say to that? You know, if the releases are coming so fast, I think, see, I'll just go a little more general over here. That it's not just Salesforce. OpenAI used to release like a model. So they released the first model in 10 years, then they released models every year. Then now they're releasing, I don't know, every month there is a new model from some vendor out there, right? So is going agentic like a land grab situation for everybody on planet Earth, or it should be more slow and deliberate?
So I would definitely say that your next 12 months are absolutely like a land grab, because it's not because the customers are going to buy hundreds of agents overnight, it's land grab for your capabilities, your credibility, and your trust. So being an SI, you must have these three things that your customer is going to trust you. And once you get a real life experience on one of the customers, and then you can, as Sid correctly said, replicate on other customers, right? And the mistake that most of them are doing today is, when you're saying that you want to become agentic means you're implementing agent force. It's not that. It's actually changing how your organization thinks, right? So let's say your consultants need to identify the agent opportunities, your architects need to design those. You need to understand now, earlier you were designing like screens, today you're designing conversations. So these are the differences that you need to address. And as we correctly said, it's building your capability, credibility, and trust, rather than worrying about, how can we implement agent force, or how many implementations have we done in terms of agent force.
Yeah, I like that idea that just like becoming an agentic SI is not like how many agent force implementations we've done. It could be internal facing as well. I think one of the times when I was talking to Sid initially, you know, their firm actually has agents built in house for productivity gains, right? So it doesn't have to be always agent force. An SI firm could be agentic by their DNA or from the inside as well. Yeah. Okay, interesting. I think that rounds up that question. Moving forward, next question. So, Kishore, putting you on the spot. See, with a flow or a validation rule and Apex class, right, a client can see exactly what they are getting. But an agent's behavior isn't fully predictable. That's the whole idea of generative AI. It generates, right? How does that change the conversation about scope, sign off, and when people say done, what does that even mean in a done project when we do agentic implementations?
So it's not just that, right? I mean, like, it's when you say generative AI, so yes, it reads the context, but you can give the right prompt to the right context and then get the right results also. So along with the results, what you get, again, the same agents, or you can divert the agents to do the testing as well, right? That's more important. Agents can build anything. It can build rockets, it can build everything. But the point is like, who does the testing? That is also more important. It's not like you build some feature and then it is already production deployable. Never. So for
Yeah.
me, again, any of these things which is being built or which is being referred in your metadata, that means like agents can read the entire source of the folder, and then it can, nowadays, I mean, like, it's been like a Fable is out. So I think another 7 days, or like today is the last day for Fable. So
Yeah.
that can read the entire source code of 2-3 folders and then give you a right result. So for me, building right stuff depends on what you are going to prompt it and what results you need it and how to validate that. Everything has to be documented in one place, and then the results are as smooth as like what you develop personally. So yeah.
Okay, I think that gives it a flavor. And you said testing earlier, said quality. I have to ask some testing questions. Sorry, it's like just the DNA now reflexing. So I'll make it more complicated and hand it off to Mitul. See, when I started as a QA at Accenture 2009 or so, right? JP Morgan Chase was a client. We got like a test plan, 50 test cases or something were to be checked off to mark it done. But in an agent force implementation, there is no like the list is infinite. There are no
Right.
50 test cases to be passed. So how do you think the done criteria should be designed?
So I think this is where we need to stop treating agentic implementations like traditional software projects. With a flow or a validation rule, we can define every possible path. But when it comes to an AI agent, by design, or it has like a degree of reasoning, let's say, or and because we're not validating every response, right? We're validating whether the particular agent that you've designed is operating within acceptable boundaries or not. So let me give you an
Hmm.
example here. So let's say if you have designed a customer service agent, if it resolves 95% of your customer queries correctly, I would call it a successful. Reason being, it answered the queries, it appropriately escalated, the remaining 5%. So I would call it as a successful implementation, even though every conversation wasn't identical, right? So when it comes to the definition of done, I don't think agentic projects are ever gonna be like done, because
Done. Yeah.
they're more like onboarding a new employee, right? You train them, you monitor their performance and gather feedback, and refine how they work and continuously improve. So the go live is really the beginning of an optimization cycle when it comes to an agentic, like an AI agent. And as an SI, this also changes our commercial model. And this is very
Yeah.
important, because when we're sitting in India, a lot of projects will have a lot of scope creeps. Pretty much, I would say, good amount of projects have that in India nowadays. But I would say we shouldn't disappear after go live. Of course, we need to help our customers monitor the performance, refine prompts, and improve the knowledge. You can also adjust the guardrails and the business outcomes, basically, because your success isn't in delivering a particular agent, it's in how often your customers are going to use your agents.
Got it. I think you brought up a very important point of scope creep, and I'll be very candid. We have customers in India, US, UK, France. Earlier, this was a notion that the Indian customer has a scope creep. I'll be very candid. I have seen this across the world now.
Right.
So, not picking a country, but just making it more complicated for Sid, because I know Sid has an agentic implementation live on the App Exchange as well. Sid, part number one is, how did you make that live? What were your quality gates? How did you gain the confidence that, yeah, this is ready to ship live, guys? Let's make it live.
Yeah, so I think so. Like, see, what Mitul said is absolutely correct. I agree with her on word by word. Previously, it was very easy when my SOW used to say, hey, I will write 3 flows, I will write 2 validations, 5 triggers, 4 Apex, LWC classes, and this is an estimate and all. If your SOW still says the same, you are the powered AI conversation which you started. You are not an agentic SI firm
Agentic.
at all. So you're not an agentic SI firm, because now your SOW will change and say, hey, if it's a customer support, for example, you take, these are the 100 scenarios for which we are going to build this agent. Out of this 100 scenarios, if 90 get the answers correctly, we will move it as a success phase. And this is our scope of work to start with. Once that is delivered, we say, hey, this is not done. This is not the endpoint. This is a starting point. Because now we go after maturing it up to check that 90% which we agreed to 99% without feedback mechanism, giving more data, understanding on which scenarios it's failing, and prompting it
Hmm.
up. So for me now that the managed services definition or the support services has changed, that is where the money starts flowing up, because first you set it up and then you maintain it up so that it brings those efficiencies and ROI for the client. So if you do it for the same thing for inside, before building anything, it is now, hey, what are the scenarios or question it needs to answer? Like for me, when we make our agent live for our SMS app, we have a database of 10 years from which clients have asked so many questions and all. So is
Yeah.
it, hey, we cannot build for everything. So we say, hey, can it answer these set of questions? Maybe my inbound is not working, maybe I have a payment issue and all. So let's crack this issue first, let it go live, and then we start building the other issues and all. And slowly and gradually the agent evolves and we build it up. So it's very important to define that scope of what we are going to ask in the end. Obviously, the wordings can change. It's all NLP and all, but then that's the guardrail. That nothing outside this. It's my scope.
Very interesting, Sid. I think you answered like both things at the same time, that there should be like strong scope adherence, but then that should evolve with time. And I think how Mitul highlighted that when we were selling products, product had a life tenure or something, that you launch it, it stays alive for 3 years, then it dies down, then new version comes. With agent, it's more like employee onboarding, that you're onboarding somebody, and then they should evolve with you, with your context, with your training, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so on that,
Yeah, would you fire an agent in the future?
We
Yeah,
may.
absolutely. No, absolutely. So I just had a call yesterday with my team on the same side of things. Now, if I'm not giving my new release note to the agent, which is working fine, that agent is fired next day. That's a dead waters, because I have released something, my whole UI has changed. That agent is, what is talking is not making any sense at all. So that's where we say, when we used to say employee will adopt, now we say the agent has to adopt to the new reality of new documentations, new text releases, new stuff which is coming up. So 100% that stands.
Very interesting. Okay, Kishore has a view there.
Yeah, so even those can be automated. Being a tech guy, right? So everything, push it online, give the URLs, tell that every 3 months see these URLs. It will always follow the channels and then build the right product. But yeah, like it's has pros and cons as well. But make sure like it is not building the wrong stuff end of the day. But yeah.
So the first thing I tell my team when they build an agent, hey, please ensure it doesn't talk about my competitor. Rest everything is okay. Don't forget that guardrail.
Very interesting, Sid. I think that is where we see testing evolving is those guardrails. They are the main thing now. Agents can generate a whole lot of stuff, but they should stay in their guardrails.
Yep.
Yeah, but interesting. I think I can go on for hours. It's not about me. It's about you guys. So on to the next question for Mitul in that case. Mitul, when I started as a QA at Accenture, through my career at Happiest Minds as well, right? The old SI model rewarded billable hours, right? More customization, more hours, more revenue, all good. If agents compress the delivery time, does the agentic SI earn less per project, or does the value just move somewhere else? Where do these margins actually go for an agentic SI?
I don't think agentic SIs earn less. I think it earns differently, and because the margin is going to move from, let's say, execution to expertise. Like historically, as you said, SIs were rewarded for efforts, more customizations, and more billable hours. But customers never actually wanted hours, right? They always wanted business outcomes. Now AI is simply making that mismatch more obvious, right? So this is where we were talking with one of our existing customers, and we were also having the same conversation, that they were like, do you think you'll go out of business when it comes to agentic AI, because your path's going to go less? And this is where we told them that we do feel that some implementation revenue will compress. I don't think we should be afraid of saying that, right? But every major technology shift has moved value rather than destroyed it. So let's say cloud reduced infrastructure work but created massive consulting opportunities. Low code reduced coding efforts but increased demand for business process transformations. So I believe agentic AI will follow the same pattern. And, like, we're not ignoring reality here. So at Creatique, we are already asking ourselves a different question. It's not how many hours can we bill, but now it's how much business value can we create. And if AI is going to help deliver this in half the time while achieving better outcomes, I would rather spend the remaining time on helping the customer solve the next problem than charging them for writing more code. So I think the best SIs won't be measured by how many people can they put on a project. They'll be measured by how much business value can they create within the right combination of humans and AI agents and automations, and that's where the margin's going to be.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So you are mentioning that there's actually more potential for the agentic SIs to make money, but I don't know. I have no
Double your
views on
work,
that.
double your power, double your work with other customers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Sid has a viewpoint on that.
Oh, very strong viewpoint. So I wish Mitul is right, but I don't see that happening. And I think the world is with me with Infosys, TCS shares, Accenture shares crashing all in. Salesforce crashing 60%
Yeah.
is actually a horror story where the things doesn't look like that. Partially, I might agree with the Mitul that yes, the obviously you cannot bill now 200 hours for the client, which with agents I can do for 50 hours, and clients is intelligent. Please don't feel like your client doesn't know anything. He knows everything. He's not going to give you 51 hours. He's going to go to your same proposal into the Claude, ask what's the actual hours. Claude says 50. He will select the vendor, will give 50. And you might say 100. My proposal will say still 50. And still he will take me 50 because you cannot win it alone. See, but it's truth is truth. Truth always prevails. We cannot either we close our eyes or put a curtain over it and say it will happen. No, it will not fly, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that way the work will reduce. It has to be honest. Previously we used to charge 200 hours. It was 200 hours. Now it's 50 hours. It's 50 hours. The only thing which can change is previously he didn't had budget to give me 20 projects, which he always wanted to give. Now he has. So that way the workload can increase a lot. Like in my company itself, there were projects I was putting them under the carpet for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. All of them have come out of the carpet. I'm building a new product which I will be launching soon on the app exchange. I was thinking about 8 years of how this will be developed, what should be done. And now, yeah, I have the capability, I have the resources, I have the agents to pull it off and launch on the app exchange. Will the app exchange survive or not is a different story altogether. But can I make enough money in 2 years? That's a different story. So my point is, things will change. Obviously, we will adapt. We'll find something. We have survived the previous times also. We will survive this time also. But the client is changed, so there is an impact. Absolutely, there is an impact on the SI revenue, but it might get compensated with overall work being
Got
increased.
it. I think okay. So taking away three things. First of all, super looking forward, Sid, for the next product launch. I think whatever has come out of the SMS 360 brand has always been legendary. Second is what I could understand is that there is definitely a potential to earn more because there is more bandwidth and productivity. And third, the same client had always like a wish list of items. So now they can expand into that wish list with similar budgets, which obviously goes back into the SI pool, product agentic pool, right? Makes sense. Okay, but what does Kishore see from their viewpoint? Do you see the billable hours being continued? Do you see them being discontinued?
It's 100% discontinued. So I
Wow.
I lean with Sid what he said, right? So he said like if he is a customer, he'll ask Claude and make it like 50 hours. I'll ask again Claude how to make it 30 hours. So it's like that. So honestly, guys, I mean like even the customers they know what they're talking to us, right? So that's how it is. So if you are getting a project for 1,000 hours, they will easily reduce it to 250 hours and then get things done very easily. But make sure like the SOW also has the compliance part of it, where you add that everything will be developed through the AI agents and all of those stuff. Only then you'll be able to achieve it. Again, the repository technically, the code, everything has to be in the client side so that you are all compliant enough. So that's more important when you're delivering stuff. Again, the margin actually it will go down. Make sure like you find the tech debt again through an agent, and those tech debt can also be managed. One or the other way is find gaps in the org itself, and then you can build more bonding with the customer and then get more margins as well from there. Yeah.
Correct. No, I think I would totally agree that there is enough tech debt in the Salesforce ecosystem. You log into any org, you will find some black hole.
Yeah, and see, whatever the agents, they are building it, right? So even if a prompt is wrong, they will brand new create all the new classes, whereas they can leverage the existing classes, right? So that's more important as a technical guy, right? So you have to make sure like whatever is present in the org, leverage it. Don't create a tech debt for the org and then create another 100,000s of lines of code and then make sure like the org is all running slow. It's not well maintained, poorly security gaps. There are so many things which agents can screw up, right? So we have to make sure again that whatever you're building has to be like retested again with the human perspective and then do it up.
Yeah, I think that like dovetails into the next question actually pretty well, Kishore, and I'll put you on the spot because you brought that thought up. So it's all your fault. I didn't do this. But see, let's say, when we had this scripted automation or handwritten test cases, right, they would like just fail and throw an error. With an agent, they tend to fail quietly, silently, like a knife to the back. It does something plausible but wrong, and nobody notices until a customer says, "What is all this? What is all this happening?" So, as delivery leaders, as industry experts, right? How do you guys build confidence? How do you build confidence, Kishore, that what you shipped behaves actually the way the client expects once it's live in the real org in production?
So again, with the agentic era, so whatever you ship is, I personally feel like it's not 100%. Even if you are shipping the brand new product or like the best product in the world, when it is out in production or like when you're developing stuff in the sandboxes also, right? So it's again how you learn or how the data is being managed in the org, where it is like in sandbox it is different, in the UAT it is different, and in the production is also different. The way where it gets fails or like the agents gets failed, right? So it's because the agents are not able to answer the questions what is present in each org. So when you're testing in your lower orgs, make sure like you have the right data and then test it on the same data what is there in the production, and test it not 5 times, 10 times, test it 100 times, even with the person involved. Human presence is must, and then you ship it to higher org. Even in higher org, as the question says, it can fail, it will fail, because the agents are not that mature enough. It is taking the baby steps. So in another 1-2 years it might be mature enough, but yeah, till that time we have to keep an eye on the org and then make sure like no scripts are failing in any places. So that would be my way of thinking. I will deploy a person and then I will have to test it again and then I will check them. Yep.
Okay, makes sense. See, this answers the pre-production testing part, but making it complicated for Sid next, right? See, in my head, like agents have to be continuously monitored like employees. They might do something great on Monday, and they might just break things in production on a Friday. So, Sid, how do you think about post-production testing, confidence building, and continuous monitoring of these systems?
See, I will answer your question, but I'm more of a guy who doesn't believe in postmortem to ensure the person doesn't die. Before I call postmortem, so you're giving me a postmortem question. But for me, there's a lot of work we should be doing before that. Like why I need to let that agent fail, because the failure could be in multiple ways. If it's a service kind level at a failure, I can survive with it. But if it's a discount level failure where he has to give 8% discount and he gave 72 because the customer said, hey, I cannot afford, I have this, that's a big issue that could take me out of the business in immediate if I'm a B2B kind of a person and all, right? So that scenario depends. So that's where the testing comes up. And see, now testing has evolved, like you being the champion in that, and I say, like we've also using you guys, and also the things have changed in that area. Can my testing be automated completely? Human still has that limitation, right? If we are talking about human being coding, then why we're talking about human not being in testing? So the testing agents take it over, obviously under the supervision of a human. But then those are the scenarios with the testing agent is coming out with asking a lot of tough questions, asking about those discounts and all. And then we looking at an agent point of view or a human point of intervention that, hey, everything is correct or not. We going live with it. I 100% agree with Kishore. Without human, it's a nightmare. There has to be someone who's looking after all those responses and all. But then Kishore will say, hey, why cannot I have another agent who looks after that agent and sees if he's answering correct or not. But my point is, like, where does the story ends? Then, like, it's like having one person looking after the work of other person, and then having a third person looking after the work of second, fourth as the third, where the buck stops. Somewhere it has to stop, right? And that is where the human takes a call. No, that's enough, and that's how we go about it. It's a journey, as I told you. Once it starts running, things will be 99.9% right, which, like, it will be successful when you say, hey, this error could be done by human also. So nothing much about it.
Okay, I think then what you mentioned reminds me of my initial testing days. So it's all about the severity and the priority. That how bad is it? And humans fail. I fail every day as a founder, right? The whole point is, how do we judge that failure, right? But then taking that and then passing on to Mitul. See, interestingly, when you talk to ChatGPT, one of the things I've found is that it could lie to you. Same with Agent Force, right? Yeah, go on, Sid. Yeah.
Ask me. I have a scenario for you guys. Just before Mitul says, I have an interesting scenario. So we were suddenly very health conscious. So we did the complete test, all the blood test, which can be in the world. I think so. The doctor said me like 32, which was suggested by AI also. ChatGPT, and also me, my wife, my dad, my mother. We all had that test, and the reports came up. And I then put all the reports in ChatGPT. It's been around 9-10 months. And ChatGPT gave me a cancer marker for my dad. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. That instance, man, I rushed to a doctor, a family doctor, sat with him, and he said, show me reports. He went to said, there it is. And the ChatGPT said, page number 14. He said, I'm on page number 14. I don't see anything. There was nothing at all in report, and hallucinated, but that was a nightmare for me for those 3 hours. So you cannot take it on a face value, man.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, Sid, you correctly said, right? The hallucination is very dangerous. And one of the biggest mindset shifts that we need to have is we are no longer just testing whether the system is working. We are testing whether we can trust it or not, right? Because the traditional automation is very deterministic. If something breaks, it is, it fails very loudly. Validation rule which will block a transaction, or an apex exception is thrown, or a flow errors out or something. But when it comes to an AI agent, the dangerous failures are often quiet ones, and the response sounds perfectly reasonable, perfectly fine, and perfectly right, but it's subtly very wrong. And this is actually a harder problem, right? And this is where I understand that two main things are very important. One is your testing has to evolve, and you already mentioned that point wherein we were earlier checking did we execute the flow correctly or not, or our QAs were like sort of running more of the happy path testing. But now we have to change that entire thing and go towards checking whether your AI agent is staying within policy. Is it hallucinating? Is it exposed to sensitive data? Is it maintaining the right tone, or is it giving us the right answers or not? And with that being said, we were also talking about like testing in higher environments, and this is where your sandbox and production are going to give you two different answers for the same question. And this is where I would definitely say that your go live is in the finish line. This is where your go live was often considered as a victory, and we did all those celebrations earlier. But now we should be monitoring escalation rates, or customer feedback, or incorrect actions, and also the response qualities. So all such things need to be monitored more, and we need to be more invested as SIs, because the customers, for them, go live is the starting point, whereas for us until now it was the finish line for most of the times. So I would definitely say that as we were saying of hiring employee and training them on Friday and Monday situations. So it's definitely going to be that situation where we'll have to train them and supervise them, review their work, and gradually maybe increase the responsibility rather than giving everything at once.
Wow, I think very, very interesting perspectives over there. Gradually increasing an agent's responsibility seems very interesting to me. Gives me some ideas for my product. But okay, I think that's about it, folks. Thank you so much, Mitul. we'll end the session here, guys. We're slightly over the time mark. First of all, thank you to Sid, Kishore, Mitul. Anybody who's listening it now, listening it in the future, or anywhere on LinkedIn, YouTube, go follow these guys. I absolutely adore this group. One of the most energetic, true to the ground, like true to the core kind of sessions we've had so far. So go follow Sid, Kishore, Mitul on LinkedIn, Twitter, email. Go find them. Love the work that they are doing. You can find most of us at Bharat Jimmy. TestZeus will have a booth at Bharat Jimmy. Come meet us if you really want to see the future of testing, as we've discussed some parts of it today. That's about it for today. Once again, thank you so much, Sid, Kishore, Mitul. See you folks soon in person.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure, man.
Bye.
Thank you
Always
for having
interesting
us.
conversation.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.